Well, hi everyone, and thank you. Thank you to everyone joining us in the room and online for, as Miranda said, Qlik's very first field day event. And I am so pleased to have the opportunity to actually introduce you to Qlik, for those of you who may be a little less familiar, as well as to our AI strategy. Now, Qlik is pretty well known for actually disrupting the BI market more than 10 years ago with our innovative approach to visual analytics. And we've been a recognized leader in the market ever since. It's really our passion to help organizations transform data into business value that drives our continued innovation around analytics, but also data integration, data quality, AI, and automation. And today there's more than 40,000 organizations around the world, including 500 NGOs and nonprofits that trust Qlik to help them use data, analytics, and AI to help them, create business value by solving theirs and the world's biggest problems. Now, about 6 months ago, when everybody was jumping into the generative AI fray, we actually took a step back to really want to understand, well, what do organizations want to do with generative AI? What do they want to do differently with generative AI? And we did this by doing market research. We talked to a ton of prospects and our customers. We talked with analysts and influencers like you. And what we learned was, companies are really looking at generative AI as a promising new technology to help them solve some of those business problems they still haven't been able to answer for. And what they're looking to do differently is they're looking for a partner that can help them embrace AI while removing the risk and kind of embracing that complexity and effectively scaling the positive impact of AI. And so we thought, well, at Qlik, how do we help companies today embrace AI in a safe and trusted way? And it turns out we actually do a lot. So first of all, we do help our customers create a trusted foundation for AI. And that comes through a lot of our offerings in data. We have broad connectivity to data. We have intelligent data pipelines. We have data transformation engines to really help organizations create those powerful data fabrics. But we also have robust data catalogs and lineage for traceability and trust. By having turnkey AI solutions, it really enables organizations to reap the immediate benefits of AI. And for us, you see that in a lot of our analytics solutions. And what that allows organizations to do is to effectively scale data-driven decisions to more people across their organization through things like automated insights, natural language experiences, proactive alerts and notifications, all embedded in the flow of their work. And lastly, we help organizations create their own custom solutions to solve new business use cases through our self-service AI solutions. And this is really driven through our automl, data science, and new generative AI offerings. And we call this holistic set of solutions Qlik Stage. And that's because just as actors are bringing stories and ideas and characters to life on a stage, we think that today's innovators are bringing their ideas to life with AI. And Qlik Stage is to help them bring their AI strategy to life in ways that reduce risk, that embrace the complexity, and effectively scale the impact of AI.
Did you say embrace complexity?
Embrace complexity.
I like that.
So yeah, we realize, and Qlik, we really do think it's our job to help make the complex less complicated, right? Just because things are complex, we're talking lots of data, we're talking models, we're talking governance, we're talking lots of people. It's complex. Business, like decision-making, is complex. There's no taking the complexity away, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So that said, Qlik Stage is just more than products, of course. It's really about bringing together all of our technology, our best thinking, our partners, and our customers together to really focus on helping others realize the potential of data in their organizations and start to infuse AI throughout their operations. And our focus is really on helping organizations get that value today while they're putting together the pieces for more advanced solutions that will take them into the future. And we know that needs to be done in a way that's transparent, that's trusted, and for our clients especially, it needs to be governed. So it's AI Field Day. Some of you may be thinking, AI, why Qlik? And, really, Qlik has been a leader in AI-enhanced analytics for years. A lot of people are really surprised to learn that we were one of the early adopters of one of the first LLMs, BERT, which we actually use to deliver prompt experiences in our analytics today. Analytics developers and we call that Insight Advisor. So Insight Advisor is like our AI assistant, and analytics developers can use it to auto-generate visualizations, dashboards. Business users can use it to ask questions and receive relevant in-context answers. That's usually delivered in a visualization, a summary, even key drivers of that trends that they're seeing. And they can do that all in 10 languages. In addition to capabilities like Insight Advisor, we also have broad connectivity to large language models, so you can further enrich your Qlik analytics experience with generative AI to bring in more context to your insights, to have a more robust chat experience as well. We also acquired a few years ago and now have available predictive and AutoML capabilities to our customers and partners who have built more than 170,000 models in just a couple short years. And this is really important because these models enable these customers to really scale their data science investments by allowing analysts to actually create sophisticated machine learning models to solve their business problems. And I think what we are most proud of course, is that we have many customers who are using these AI capabilities to drive transformational value for their organizations today. So clients like Airbus, Schneider Electric, J.B. Hunt partner with Qlik to develop trusted, governed data to their organizations. We have a lot of industry leaders like Fujitsu, CaixaBank, Intuit, who are using our AI-enhanced analytics to make data-driven decisions more accessible throughout their organizations. And lastly, Appalachian and Regional Healthcare, Weber State University, and Revlo are just a few of those customers who are partnering with us to use AutoML to really scale the impact of AI in their organizations.
So
go ahead.
How does AutoML plug into the AI pipeline kind of world? I look at AutoML kinds of capabilities, and they're more hyperparameter optimizations kinds of things, but I don't see that happening here. I mean, I'm just trying to understand what your solution does for model training and generation.
Well, and I'll have Nick add on to, or you're already clicking on. I was just going to say, AutoML is a way to make modeling more accessible to data scientists, more technical users, not necessarily a everyday business user, but not necessarily a data science. And it does automate that whole process for them in terms of working with the data, modeling the data, and actually pushing that into some of your solutions to actually, deploy those models in a way that's actionable. But Nick, I know you want to jump in as well.
If you're going to cover it later, that's good.
Yeah, well, we'll actually do a live demo of it too, so that might be an even better way to see it in action. But the reality is between the pipeline and the data foundation, as you guys all know, AI is only as good as the data on which it rests. And so having, as Mary explained, the ability to set a trusted data foundation and then build on top of that automated machine learning models is sort of the value proposition of a total, platform play where we can have both the trust in the data that we're using, and then the transparency into the models that we then deploy into our analytics and our automation framework. So again, we'll see it in a live demo. That'll probably be the best way, but really trying to make machine learning more accessible to more people so that businesses can scale AI effectively.
Can you talk a bit about where that data lives? We've talked a lot over the last few days about structured data, unstructured data, and different platforms that can help enable access to that. Like, what is the basis of most of your customers' data? Where does that live? You've mentioned like a lot of connectors. What does that kind of typical customer look like?
A typical customer. It's interesting. You know, one of the things that really where Qlik stands apart is that we are independent and we are agnostic. And so we really, you know, want to partner with our customers to make sure that we are optimizing their data and analytic investments versus them kind of augmenting ours. And so the first question for analytics anybody will ask you is, do you connect to my data sources? Do you connect to my systems? So I don't know if we have any, but data sources, I mean, my gosh, there's hundreds of them. I don't know if we have any standards in terms of databases, cloud data sources, applications. We have native connectors to a lot of business applications, but is there anything that stands out to you as a typical profile?
Well, there is no typical profile. I think that's the big thing. So our data integration and quality side of our product portfolio allows for customers to bring data from literally anywhere. Could be on-prem behind a mainframe, could be SaaS, you know, you name it. And bringing it all together in one platform where you can then, you know, ingest that data at scale. So we have leading edge change data capture technology there where, you know, you're incrementing the data in, and then the data modeling aspect where you're then bringing that data together in a way in which you can associate different data sources together. I would say in terms of AI, like the power of AI is the ability to find patterns across a variety of sources, more sources than a human can, you know, possibly interpret. So that foundation is really pivotal because we're bringing together data from literally anywhere for any organization across different domains, different departments, different data sources. And again, being able to find patterns across all of that data is really where that foundation you know, drives value.
Cool. So fundamentally, the data's like you've got lots of ingestion connectors, I suppose. It's ingested into the Qlik ecosystem, world, platform, foundation, whatever you like to call it, and then any service transformation, AutoML, all that stuff filters over the top of that, and it's run on the Qlik platform essentially.
Yeah, so yeah, the data pipeline and integration, that whole thing will bring data from source to a target. Could be, you know, you pick your Snowflake, your Databricks, wherever it might live, and then we layer on top of that our analytics and our machine learning, our AI. So again, that foundation is the cornerstone of everything that's downstream. But again, you know, organizations have data all over the place, and they have to be able to bring that together in one form so that AI can actually find, you know, the patterns and you can benefit from it.
So 2 questions. One, are you, because you've used the term ingesting the data, so are you copying the data? And then 2, structured and unstructured data?
Great question. So yes, moving and transforming that data and landing it in another target, right? So that it is centralized. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to be in front of the...
You're coming up next.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And as we'll get into, yes, structured data. That's been the strong suit of Qlik for a very long time. Continues to be one of the areas in which we have strength and market-leading technology. But obviously the world's changing, and unstructured data is now a real thing, and there's new technologies that allow organizations to get value out of that. So we definitely want to move in the direction of having those pipelines both ingest structured data and then create potentially embeddings out of it so you can use LLMs to interact with it in a natural language format, but also to start sourcing unstructured sources of content and be able to make use of that in a similar format. So if you think about the long-term goal here, you have one set of data pipelining technology that you trust for your structured and unstructured sources. So you have one technology, one vendor of choice for that, and then you can create the value from the synergy between those two different sources, where really we haven't been able as a market to be able to realize both structured and unstructured data altogether and get insight out of it.
And we do, from an analytics perspective, we do direct query. So that happens a lot with like the databases like Snowflake. We can do direct query. We can do a combination of direct query and in memory. to really help do like data compute really effectively, and save some money where appropriate, which is becoming really important now as we're talking about AI and generative AI. It's a lot of data that people need to analyze, and it can get cost prohibitive as you're looking at really scaling that across the organization. So we found that really is an interesting differentiator for us.
So when you talk about algorithms and pattern recognition, is that open source or is that your own secret sauce you're using? Or maybe a combination?
No, jumping ahead into, if we're talking AutoML, which for everyone's benefit here is supervised learning on structured data, right? So using very standard practices that have been tested, tried and true type of sklearn, for those familiar with that type of framework. So algorithms that fit within that, from XGBoost to just traditional logistic regression, or going into other forms around ridge regression and stuff like that, where those data sets and use cases require that. But certainly not building out-of-the-box algorithms that no one's ever heard of and no one will trust, right? So we're working with stuff that everyone understands is pretty well-established best practice. Certainly those algorithms depend on the data and the use case. Some are better than others. And AutoML takes no stance on which particular approach is better. Like, we let the data tell us which type of approach, which type of pre-processing is appropriate to find the patterns in that data. And the same thing, as we'll talk about in a little bit when Ryan's up here, will apply to how we approach unstructured data as well. There are a variety of LLMs. There's basically a new one every week, and they're all doing different things. And as we'll see as this progresses, we'll get to smaller and smaller models that do things, particular aspects or particular tasks very well. And again, we don't want to make an assumption from a user standpoint what they're trying to do, and making sure that we have an open framework to enable the use of the appropriate LLM for the appropriate use case.
So is it fair to say then that when you talk about AI solutions with customers, that it's more like an engagement where they provide the data, you assimilate the data, you analyze the data, and then you make suggestions as far as algorithms and software frameworks, and then what's the next step? Do you deploy then a full-blown solution, or is it then up to the customer to deploy and acquire the hardware and all those good pieces?
No. So we want to make it as simple as possible. And when you say engagement, that to me is like a person to person. No, it's person to software. Like, that engagement is enabling and empowering people that have not been able to use AI and machine learning before to be able to use it and to use it responsibly in an effective way. So that's sort of the cornerstone of our philosophy there. But certainly going from iteration and experimentation to, okay, I've got something I want to deploy and start using, we want to make that process easy, because from my perspective, having done this for a long time, that's one of the biggest blockers is, hey, I did this really cool experiment. How do I get it into the hands of people that can benefit from it? And so with Qlik, we have a very easy mechanism where you deploy that model, and then you can build it into your dashboards that people consume by the thousands. So Qlik as a medium is actually an ideal place to install AI and machine learning, because you've already got an entrenched medium by which people are engaging around data, making decisions around data, having a conversation around data, and now they get to do it through an enhanced mechanism that only AI and machine learning can unlock. So again, we'll see in the demo. I'm really excited for that part of it because it'll come to life. But literally, it's one click deploy into Qlik, and then you can build visuals. You can even build what-if scenarios on top of it. Very powerful.
Mm-hmm. All right. And